International Media TV, television that listens to you.
If you want to see African American leadership, then we have to support African American leadership. And the encouragement, the prayers, all of that is helpful, but also showing up for the campaign office, showing up to rallies and contributing and doing all those kinds of things helps to elect really good leaders. And so it's a well-rounded approach. And there's been a lot of momentum here in the city just after a lot of things have happened. And it's just really, if we want to elect good African American leadership in this city, or anywhere else for that matter, it requires that we put in the work as well as everything else that you need to do.
And someone who started out in public housing and is now president of the Board of Supervisors, what do you tell people who are thinking that they cannot do it but have you as an example?
Yeah. Well, growing up in public housing during the time that I grew up, I've spent most of my life there. I never thought I'd be even a member of the Board of Supervisors. And I never thought I'd even be acting mayor or considered by voters to be the mayor of San Francisco. This is still shocking to me that I could even be in this kind of position. But you got to be fearless, and you got to work hard, and you got to know what it is that you're doing, and also you have to like people. you got to like people, and I genuinely like people. I genuinely love, watching, our children perform, and I love, socializing and hanging out. But I also care about the work and getting the work done that's going to lead to changing people's lives. And so part of it is, from my perspective, I think you can do anything that you want to do. You just got to work hard at it, and also you got to make sure that it's how you feel inside too, because that's what drives me, is how I feel about the work that I do, how I feel about the people I represent, how I feel about the city. It's what drives me to do the work that I do, because it is a lot of hard work, it's countless hours, it's a lot of personal time, and so there's a real commitment to this job. And I think part of it is when you lived it and you didn't have a choice and you know what worked and what didn't, it makes you think differently. I mean, public policy is not abstract to me. It's really my life, and it's how I lived, and I want to make sure that when we make the kinds of decisions that we make, we're changing our thinking about we're thinking about the people whose lives we're impacting, and we make better decisions in order to make sure that the quality of life for those residents are better than it was when I was growing up. I mean, when I first became a member of the Board of Supervisors, there are conditions that had existed and still exist in some of the public housing developments, and just to go to Pitts Plaza, for example, and to look at, it's not about just the paint, it's the inside, it's the bathroom, it's the toilets, it's the shower, it's the kitchen, it's like the little things that people who, are fortunate to have those things work for them all the time that a lot of people take for granted. But when you spend most of your life living in the conditions where sometimes your water didn't work, sometimes the pipes were busted, sometimes you had to use other people's bathrooms, regularly. You know what it feels like, and you don't want other people to live like that.
Thank you for your leadership and your service.
Our goal, and we've been successful in doing this, is to build housing without displacement. So learning from the lessons that we have gotten from the redevelopment agency and how they move people away, we're not doing that. We're actually building on site and allowing people to move into new construction, and then we're tearing down old construction. So that's really important. The other element of that is paying attention to workforce development. So making sure that the work that is happening is incorporating the neighbors and the neighborhood. And we're talking about more than just a flagging job on a construction site. We're talking about legitimate careers where people are becoming members of the laborers or the carpenters, and also ensuring that a lot of the neighborhood contractors or small business contractors are also being able to get a piece of the work. So there's a lot of action that's happening in the southeast part of San Francisco, and for myself and of course President Bree, we're just paying close attention to who's building the units and for whom. The other part of that conversation is who's going to be able and be in a position to market and to buy the buildings, right? So what we've been doing is trying to develop a marketing program that's specifically targeting African Americans, Latinos, Pacific Islanders, people that, like President Breeden and I, grew up in San Francisco and want to remain in San Francisco. She and I are both connected to families. We've got younger sisters and cousins. I mean, we've got a long extended family, and we want to make sure that certainly people who have come and made San Francisco their home, the newcomers, they're welcome, but also ensuring that those that have tears and have shed blood in the streets are also able to anchor themselves and have a home too.
Thank you for your leadership and continue to do the good work. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.